everybody. Let's talk about this latest episode of Game of Thrones. Okay, so let's start with Marine. Okay, so from last week's episode, Daenerys gets there and her and Tyrion are having a conversation about what's going on with the Masters. And Tyrion basically tells her that he was trying to be diplomatic and, Marine was flourishing and everything was going good till the Masters came back. Right? And so Daenerys is like, well, okay, I understand. You try to do it the diplomatic way, and that's cute now, but I have a better solution. I'm gonna solve our problems. I'm just gonna burn all the ships in the water. We're just gonna kill them all, burn them all, and go on about our business. And Tyrion, kind of reminded her, wait a minute, girl, you starting to sound a little bit like your dad, right? The Mad King, you starting to sound oddly close. And so he tells her, maybe that's not a good idea because, they have a lot of ships that we could use. And plus, there may be some slaves on those boats. So you would essentially be killing the masters and the slaves that really didn't have nothing to do with it. So she thought about it and she's like, all right, cool. So they meet up with, the three guys that Tyrion had met up with in the beginning. And, they were basically telling Daenerys, it's over, you need to surrender, blah, blah, blah. And she was looking at them like, excuse me, we didn't have this meeting, to talk about my surrender. Okay, we are talking to talk about your surrender. And they basically was talking down to her and she was like, you know what, I can show you better than I can tell you. So, she calls Drogon. He is such a beautiful dragon. I love dragons. Anyway, so she calls him, and he is so huge. I love it. And he swoops down and he puts his little wing out, and she climbs up his wing and gets on his back, honey, and she rides him. And oh my goodness, y'all, I was so happy. It's just like the other two dragons, when they heard their big brother and their mama out there, they came right out. So this whole time I was thinking, where are the other two dragons? What are they doing? So I guess they was just down there chilling like, man, we just gonna, hang out until it's time to come out. So when they hear them out there, they come busting out and they come flying out there. So it's all three of them. And Daenerys just picks like maybe one ship or something, and she orders them to basically set it on fire in the water. Okay, so at this moment, the masters are looking like, oh snap, we weren't ready for that. And I love it. Grey Worm comes out and he tells the guys that are, I guess, they're soldiers or they're guards or whatever, the masters guards. And he was like, look, we basically set people free. And y'all don't have to be standing behind these fools because they gonna mess around and get y'all killed. So y'all can either run or stay here with them and die. Which one you gonna do? And of course, they threw down their little spears, honey, and dipped out. They was like, oh no, we ain't really trying to die for this. We showed up, to be in support or whatever. But no, we're not really trying to get burnt up by no dragons behind these fools. I'm good. And so they dipped out, right? And Tyrion was basically like, well, okay, we know that this is over. So what y'all want to do? And he tells them, look, we had an agreement. And y'all reneged on the agreement. So one of y'all got to die. So, the two loudest of the masters, right? They're like, oh, no, kill him, kill him. They pushing the little third one in the middle. I'll kill him. He's a traitor. He's this, he's that, whatever they said. And Grey Worm, I love him. He walks up and he's like, oh, y'all want me to kill him? Kill him? He's the one? Oh, okay. And he slashes both of their throats like in one swoop. Tell me he ain't gangster. Oh, I love Grey Worm. I loved him in that moment. I was like, yes, you better kill them, Grey Worm. Okay, so basically, I think that's all that happened in Marine. Daenerys just came in with her dragons and conquered. What you want me to say? That's over with. Oh, no, 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 no. That's not all that happened. Theon and Yara get there. And I'm like, man, y'all made it over there quick. They must have been real close. Last episode, when they was at the Lady of the Night House. You know what I'm talking about? So I was like, okay, cool. So they get there and Tyrion starts going in on Theon. The last time I seen you, you was making fun of me and do. And he just kind of ran down this whole list of horrible things that Theon had did. And he was telling them, I know I did all of that stuff, but that's past me now. I've paid for it dearly. And Yara and Daenerys was having a conversation, and Yara basically told Daenerys, "Look, I want to be the queen of the Iron Kingdom, and there's never been a woman, and there are men that say that women can't rule and blah blah blah." And Daenerys was looking like, "Oh, really?" And they told Daenerys the plan that their uncle had for her, and all this stuff. And Daenerys was like, "Look, y'all can stay independent, have your own little island or do whatever, but you can't keep, pillaging and raping and, acting like savages. You can't keep doing that. Um, Only if you come with me and you join my army and y'all help me, fight when we cross the water, to get the throne. And then I'll let y'all have that. Y'all can have that, and you can be, the queen or whatever. You just have to agree to those terms." And Yara was like, "Man, but that's all we do. Like, that's what we do." And Daenerys was like, "Look, y'all gonna have to cut that out and just do something else. You're gonna have to do something else, baby. I don't know what to tell you." So they decided that that was cool. Yara was like, "Well, we'll find something else to do. It's cool." So they shook on it, and it was cool. And did y'all catch Yara flirting with Daenerys? Y'all catch that? Okay. And then Daenerys was just kind of looking at her like, "Girl, you really tried me, didn't you? You tried it, girl. Get out of here." But anyway, so that's all that happened in Marine. Yeah. So let's talk about the meat and potatoes of this whole episode, and it's John and Ramsay. So, okay. Oh, where to start? Okay, so at first, John and Ramsey they meet up to have their little pre-war talk or whatever. And they were just going back and forth. Who cares? And Sansa just got tired of listening to Ramsey, and she was like, "Look, you gonna die tomorrow." And she bounced. Like, she was over it. She was done. She was like, "No, you're going to die. I put it on everything. You're gonna die tomorrow, right?" And so John is sitting down with Davos and all of them, and they're getting this game plan together. Strategies, what they gonna do, and all of this stuff. And um, later on that evening, Davos he goes off and has his little pre-war walk. And as he's on this walk, he comes up to the place where Shireen was burned alive, and he finds the little toy that he gave her, and he just had like this look on his face. It was like sadness and anger mixed all into one. And for a minute, I thought he was gonna dip out. I don't know why. I just had this feeling like I don't know. It was weird. And also, Sansa and John have this talk. And she's saying, it's good that you have a game plan, but you really need to stick to it because Ramsay is a sneaky little something. He is ruthless. He is horrible. I know him biblically. I know him in real life. Like, I know him better than you. So please understand, I need you to not do what you think he wants you to do. And John, he's just like underestimating Ramsay. He's like, "Man, I don't fought White Walkers. I don't fought, plenty of crazy, weird, mysterious monster things. I've done all of that. And Ramsay ain't no different." And she's like, "Oh, he is different. Okay, why you trying to sit up here and make little traps? He gonna have a trap for you. This is what he does." And so it's like he listened, but I don't know, he really wasn't listening. So true enough, when it's time for them, for the battle to start, what does Ramsay do? He leads Rickon out. He has Rickon roped up and he leads him out into the field. And I immediately get nervous. Sansa had said, previously, Rickon's not going to make it out. He's just not. He's just going to be a casualty. And John wasn't trying to hear that. He just was not here for that at all. And so when they led Rickon out, there was a split second that I thought Rickon might make it. Uh, when Ramsay told him, to run, I thought initially he was going to send his hounds out there behind him, the ones he done starved for 7 days. Okay. And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, boy, you better run." So Rickon starts running. John starts coming towards him, and right as he got within arm's reach of Rickon, Ramsey shoots him with a bow and arrow and kills him. And of course, I scream in that moment because it was sad. Even though I knew it was coming, I still had this little bit of hope that he would make it, but of course he didn't. And since John obviously forgot what his sister had told him, don't do what you think he wants you to do. No, John didn't care. At that moment, he turned straight into Ned Stark. All that honor and heart and glory and all of that stuff came rushing into him. And he just charges Ramsey's army. And all that planning and strategizing went right out the window. He didn't care about none of that. He just started charging. There were so many moments where John scared me to death. Okay, he already done told Melisandre to not bring him back. So I'm just nervous because I'm thinking, okay, if he died this time, he's really gone. Okay, so he charges this army by himself. They shoot all of these arrows. It kills his horse. And so he flies off the horse and he's running full speed. He pulls his sword out and it looks like he's about to take the whole army on. And I'm like, oh, he gonna get trampled. He's gonna get trampled and sliced up and diced up. But thank goodness he didn't. Uh, John's crew, they all came, flooding in behind him. And it was just a bloody mess. It was just pillage just everywhere, just bodies piled on top of bodies. It was horrible, it was awful. There were so many moments where I thought John was going to get sliced and diced down, but it's like every time someone came up behind him or beside him or something about to chop him up, you know um one of his people came up and killed him before it happened. It was just like these really close moments. And the most terrifying though was when Ramsey's army surrounded them. And they did some old 300 type moves. They put their shields up and they stuck their spears out and they backed them up, right? They were just backing them up in a circle. And even one was in the midst, like, man, what done happened? How did we get here? Right? And so um, it was a brilliant strategy because they were getting killed. I mean, just mowed down. And they were stabbing them and all this stuff. So anyway, so the moment that terrified me was when they were running and they trampled John and he couldn't get up. So he got stuck under all these bodies and feet, people trampling, trying to just get away and, not get stabbed up. And he couldn't catch his breath and he was getting, stepped on. And I'm like, oh, Lord, he gonna die. He gonna die up under all these bodies. Please get up, get up. So he finally gets up, but he still can't breathe because they're all smothered in there together. And just as, they were thinking that it was all over, here comes Sansa and Littlefinger. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. But here they come with the cavalry, honey. They had the they had the whole rest of the army. The people that Littlefinger said would be on her side. They were there. They came in and saved the day. Right at the last moment when I thought all hope was gone. Okay, so that was a great moment. So Ramsay gonna run. Right, like the coward that he is. He gonna run once he seen Sansa and them, show up. And and so one, breaks down the door and he comes through and he has all these arrows into him and spears and things and he kind of falls down on his knees and John is looking at him like, man, whew, you done did a lot today. We all have. And then this one arrow comes and pops him, goes in his eye. And who shot the arrow but Ramsay, right? He would be the one that shoot that arrow that kills 1-1, like the last blow to 1-1. And can we talk a minute about and I don't know his name. Ooh, what's his name, y'all? What is he? The leader of the wildlings, him. He scared me too. I didn't want him to die either. He got sliced and diced in the arm. And that scared me too because I didn't want him to die either. So luckily he made it through as well. Okay. So anyway, Long story short, John is walking towards Ramsey because he ready to give him a one, right? He's ready to square up with him and beat the natural breaks off of him. Okay. And so, Ramsey, what are you doing? So he starts shooting these arrows at him. What are you doing? Like he already knew when John got close to him, it was over with, right? And it was. So John got up on him, honey, and he threw that first blow and knocked him down, honey. He got on top of him and he just started going in. Right? He is beating the brakes off of him. And I was loving it. Like I was like, get him, John, get him. He's like, you killed my brother in my face. You know, raped my sister. You hurt my sister. He thought about Rob and Catelyn and just everybody. He was just going in, right? Which he deserved that. But he stops when Sansa walks up. I guess because he didn't want to, you know, be seen as that savage kind of a person in front of her or whatever. And so what they do is they take Bloody Ramsey and they sit him right in that cage with his hounds that he starved for all those days, right? So as luck would have it, Sansa got to be there to basically read him his rights. And those dogs ate him slowly. And it was the perfect, almost perfect. Because what if I don't know. If the direwolves would have ate him up, that would have been good too. That would have been good too. But, to have his own hounds eat him alive, that was good. It was good. You know, the one hound, his face was so big. Oh my goodness, why was that dog face so big? Okay. But that first like bite into his face was horrific. Like his screams and the gurgling noises, he died slow and it was painful. And he really thought that them dogs weren't gonna eat him up. Talking about they loyal to me. She was like, yeah, I'm sure they was loyal till you starved them for 7 days. Come on now. You tested they gangster, so they gonna eat you. What you mean? So that was very satisfying for Sansa to be there to see that. And oh, and another great moment was when they, hung their banner down um over Winterfell and they have their home back. And so that was a very, very happy moment for me that John made it through, Sansa made it through, the guy that's over the wildlings, he made it through. Rest in peace to 1-1 and Rickon. Oh, bless his heart. They still don't know what's up with Bran. They don't know that Arya is alive, but now that that they have gotten their home back from the monster, at least now Bran has somewhere to come home to. And Arya too. Even though I don't really think they're gonna stay there, but Sansa will stay there. But let's and did y'all see the look on Littlefinger's face as they kind of rode up and saved the day? Like he was just so happy to be sitting on a horse next to Sansa. You better watch it, girl. Watch him. He got a look in his eye. Yeah, Sansa better keep her eyes open. Okay, eyes open, knees closed, girl. Okay, anywho. So basically, that's everything that happened within the episode. It was good. I enjoyed it. I was scared through the battle. I had, like my hands over my face, kind of peeking through. I was so nervous. Just on pins and needles. I was glad when it was over. Oh my goodness. So I don't know what's gonna happen on the last episode of this season, but I'm ready to see the mountain kill somebody. Please, like, come on, do something. I'm expecting some maybe wildfire. I don't really know. Jamie coming back. Oh my goodness. We just have to tie up some loose strings. And I'm ready to see how it all ends. So, all right. Until next week, you guys, I will see you all later. All right.